Our evaluation of the three players acquired by VGK at the trade deadline coming up ahead right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast on places like Apple and Spotify. Please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel, with new customers, you'll get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Each segment today dedicated to each of the three players signed by VGK at the trade deadline. We will talk about Noah Hanifin, Anthony Mantha later. But first, let's talk a little bit about Tomas Hertl, acquired from the Sharks at the trade deadline. VGK gave up a 2025 first-round pick along with the top prospect by the name of David Edstrom. Hertl had a procedure on his left knee, as we know. I think it was a meniscus tear or something like that. He just finished this season, season 2 of an 8-year contract deal that he had signed in San Jose. VGK also received a third-round pick in 25 and 27. Hertl waived his no-trade clause, no movement clause to come here to Las Vegas. VGK to retain some of Hertl's salary. Now, my concern all along with Tomas Hertl has been where Bruce Cassidy will play Hertl eventually. Now, when they were cleaning out the lockers the other day, Chris, Cassidy said that he wants his net front presence. He said that he wants him down low, a down low setter. And Cassidy, however, played him on the wing. That was very confusing to me. Where eventually does Tomas Hertl play? I don't want to see him on the wing. I've been very adamant about that.
Tomas Hertl definitely is a natural center. Coach Cassidy planted the seed for positioning before Hertl even, I think, practiced with the Golden Knights. He made a comments about, is it better for a new player to come in and also play a new position? Or is it better for a new player to come in and play their natural position, creating other players to maybe play an unnatural position? So starting with Chandler Stevenson, he's not been successful on the wing through his VGK, his time with the Vegas Golden Knights. They tried pushing Stevenson to the wing, having Hertl center, and it just, they never got that full chemistry going there. We never got to see Hertl's full potential because Hertl never played with players in their natural positions, whether it was Hertl playing the wing or Hertl centering a line with Stevenson on the wing. Not knocking Stevenson, just the reality. He just hasn't been that good on the wing throughout his career. So I'm with you. I would really want to see a full training camp. I want to see a nearly 100% version of Tomas Hertl. Obviously, he was probably not even 80% if I had to give an honest number. It came across as ineffective at times in the playoffs. Is that as much on the player as much as it is the system that he was trying to adapt to? And you also still have to stop and give plenty of credit to the Dallas Stars for slowing every single Golden Knight down throughout that series. But very excited for what Hertl's going to bring from a long-term perspective. If there's something that scares me, it's the fact that he's going to be pushing 37 years old when his contract expires at the end of 29-30. But we're worried about the next 2 or 3 years, not the 2 or 3 years after that right now.
They also want to see him on the power play unit. Cassidy said he wants to surround him with good players on the rush. And 36 years old, that's a bit of a red flag once this expires. He was a -6 versus Dallas.
Maybe.
He had that goal in game 1. I thought that he would be more effective. I went to game number 6 at T-Mobile Arena, and he was a player that was in front of the net a lot, had a lot of tips, a lot of deflections, but nothing went in. The goal in game 1, 4 points for VGK. And when he is at his best and most effective, I think he's going to be an added element for VGK because he's not afraid to go into that dirty area or into the blue paint. And here's another thing to ponder. If Chandler Stevenson is gone, I don't think they're going to renew his contract. Then Hertl does move up to become a center. I don't want to see him with Eichel and Stone on the same line. I don't.
So
Or I should say Eichel and Marchessault and him on the same line.
couple
I want
concerns
him
here.
and Stone if Stone's healthy. Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple concerns here. So, number one, you have this very good face-off, this very good centerman. He's very good at winning draws and things like that. That should bode well to at least a degree as far as his plus minus is concerned. The second thing, you're out there. Remember, PKs, power plays don't count negative or positive as far as plus minus goes, unless you're on the power play and you give up a shorty, then it's a minus. So Hertl's out there with Mark Stone and Chandler Stevenson, or Hertl's out there with Jack Eichel and Ivan Barbashev. Hertl came in at a -6. Hertl came in at a -6. That's a concern. And I'm not saying this is all on Hertl for all the reasons that we talked about earlier, as far as who he's out there with and everything like that. Another very interesting thing that I just found here: Shea Theodore, who is his defensive partner, Braden McNabb. All right, fine. Shea Theodore, his plus minus was 0. Braden McNabb was a +5.
Interesting.
That's something.
That's
right
telling.
there.
That's telling, right?
Right there.
But Hertl, even with his presence on the ice, I thought he would have been better than a -6.
Ineffective. He was ineffective. But again, I don't think this is on Hertl, the player. I think it's on
I don't like the
situation.
positioning. I don't like the positioning.
No, he needs to be a center, Tony. He needs to be a center, and he needs, obviously, I mean, whoever they put around him, we're getting way ahead here as far as who his line mates next year might be. I like Hertl and Stone together, but I also wouldn't mind like a skill like a Hertl, Stone, Dorofeev, something like that. Hertl, Stone, Brendan Brisson, players like that, where you have two very responsible players, and then you have, a youngster that's going to just kind of grip and rip everything. So we'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, I think Hertl's number one concern was his positioning in the lineup. And I want to keep going back to good old Butch Cassidy here, but who put him on the wing? Whose decision is that?
I know, but there was still indecisiveness there on exit interview day, which was, that left knee wasn't chilling. It was not chilling.
Hamstring. Oh,
no, his
left
knee
wasn't chilling.
Yeah. And I'm the one that wanted Dorofeev and Stone and Hertl on a line going way back. I thought that would be an effective line. Well, we don't know. Again, people are laughing, but I think Stone starts the season coming up on the LTIR. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I should not say that. We're not doing this for clicks, are we?
Too soon, bro.
It is too soon. But yeah, you like that line as well?
Too soon, or we're doing this for clicks?
No, Dorofeev with Hertl and Stone.
No, listen, I like Dorofeev with anybody as far as a skill situation goes. Dorofeev and Brendan Brisson, that's going to be a fun storyline coming out of the summer and into training camp.
What? Not again. Are we going to start touting Brendan Brisson?
I'm not touting him. I'm simply saying those players both need to be in the top 6, and that's going to be a competition.
Do you think that Brissot is going to finally get his chance?
If he wins it in training camp, absolutely. But he's going to have to beat out Pavel Dorofeev in not to the roster, but to the top 6 forwards, because either one of those players as a third line winger is a concern. And that'll be another conversation for another time. But back to Hertl, yes, Hertl needs to be in the center. Hertl needs to be with one other responsible type of player, and then a skill/speed player. Hertl can take away the defenseman. He can eliminate a defenseman all by himself by standing in front of the crease, takes away the goaltender's eyes, and then you have a Mark Stone from that bumper position, and then obviously a Brisson, a Dorofeev, anyone of that stature, so to speak, who can find a soft spot in the ice and start getting some shots. So As far as Hertl, I mean, I like him. I think he's going to be a big part of this team going forward. People just like his personality. Like, he's the right guy. Let's be clear. Kelly McCrimmon does a good job at getting the right locker room people. Maybe not Mantha, more on that in the third segment.
Come on, man.
I said
Save it
it
for
was a
segment
teaser. It
3.
was a teaser. I read that.
Okay.
I read that in podcasting for clicks. I mean, dummies. So Hertl will be fine. People love Hertl. He's going to be good in the locker room. And I know everyone wanted, obviously, I wish we were still talking about playoff hockey right now, especially watching the way the first 2 Western Conference games wins. I feel Vegas could have gone toe to
I'm 0 for 2.
Team.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm 0 for 2.
Yeah, I'm whatever. But I had a point. Oh, yeah. So just Kelly McCrimmon didn't just build for this year, but in having Hanifin for 8 more years, and obviously now Hertl through 29-30, this team is built at least for another 2-3 years as far as the Stanley Cup window goes. So
wait 1 second. I mean, this could San Jose have fleeced Kelly McCrimmon and VGK? It's a long time ahead. And how many times
David Edstrom was he was the other side of that, you said?
Yeah, Edstrom was, and
we don't know what Edstrom's going to be. So that's, I mean, what was the rest of the 2025 first? I think you said it.
VGK gave up a 2025 first-round pick along with the top prospect, David Edstrom.
It depends. I mean, you go through drafts and stuff. If it's not a top 4 pick, very rarely does that player pop early. We're not going to know until 2027.
Very rarely too, Chris. Do teams trade for a player that is actually injured?
It's right up VGK's alley.
Yeah, kind of fits. Coming up next, we will have a look at Noah Hanifin. Noah Hanifin, the defenseman acquired at the trade deadline. We'll get to that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. There is no I in team, but there is one in Indeed, and there is one in Golic. And that's the hiring platform, actually, Indeed, that you need to build. And when you're hiring, you definitely need Indeed. Indeed, the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. We streamline hiring with powerful tools that find you matched candidates. Candidates you invite to apply are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates that you will only see in a search, according to US Indeed data. Indeed's hiring platform matches you with quality candidates instantly. Even better, Indeed is the only job site where you only have to pay, I should say, for applications that meet your must-have requirements. Of course, you can start hiring right now, and you will get a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post on Indeed.com/lockedon. The offer is good for a limited time, so claim your $75 credit right now at Indeed.com/lockedon. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We appreciate you doing so. Tomorrow's WTF, and I think we're going to have some good chirps coming through our way there for a very eventful
tomorrow. Let me 2 segments tomorrow.
And of course, Chris Jr. coming up on Saturdays. That's the YouTube exclusive. You don't want to miss that. Are you setting the stage for WTF?
Yes.
Okay. You've been having a lot of back and forths. I've just been chilling. And you know me. I just stir the pot and then I get out of there and I leave it all up to you, Golick with an I.
I enjoy a fun up and back, and a lot of times, like, people love swearing and saying stupid crap right away, but then we start talking, and but it's interesting. Someone got really mad at me yesterday when I suggested that goaltending, defense, and an inexperienced coach cost the Oilers last night, and I got called some inappropriate names and stuff like that. But then the guy acknowledged that it wasn't Chris Knobloch. It wasn't his best game. So, like, the guy acknowledged my point, but still told me a couple very unfortunate words and stuff. It's like, dude, it's
but that's our fan base in Edmonton. You can't be getting them upset. Again, what 3-goal leads. So a couple of nights ago, after Dallas blew the lead against the Avalanche, I said 3-goal leads are not safe. I think they've had now close to 30 times in the NHL this season where a team comes back to win after trailing by 3 goals or more. And then we see it again last night in the Edmonton game.
10 years ago,
till the end.
10 years ago, 3 goals, it's over. Go home.
Shea Theodore is wagyu. She's onto something. Stay till the end. Noah Hanifin, VGK defenseman, a 3-team deal, and in exchange they got rid of VGK did Danil Maramanov, a 2026 first round pick. They'll have to give up 2025 third rounder from VGK. They sent to Cal Gary, and the Flyers took on 25% of Hanifin's salary. They receive in exchange a 2024 fifth round pick from VGK. April the 12th. This was the day that he signed an 8-year, $58.8 million.
What's significant about that day? Was that before or after the trade deadline, Tony?
That was after.
Were the Golden Knights in the middle of a playoff push when they don't like to get distracted with extension talk?
Even funnier was the fact that this was the same salary that they offered Hanifin in Cal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gary. It's the same exact contract.
I mean, to be fair,
as you mentioned,
I'm okay with that.
The tax break.
Breaks, and you're playing in a stadium that's literally crumbling right now. We're worse than the Oakland Coliseum.
So go back to that April the 12th date, because didn't Kelly McEyebrows say something to the effect that VGK doesn't sign anyone after the trade deadline?
It's not a time to negotiate. Not the time to negotiate.
It's not the time. No.
Not the time.
No. Contracts
I'm sticking to that. Listen,
the contract's supposed to be chilling.
Listen, guys, as all of us, whether we're fans, podcasters, what media,
entertainers,
there needs to be accountability of statements made. And that's a statement I think everyone, a lot of people in VGK land are just letting go. Maybe we're overthinking it, but with how sensitive everyone is about Jonathan Marchessault, I'm really surprised that one kind of got swept under the rug. But let's talk Noah Hanifin. I'll bat lead off for a few minutes here. Noah Hanifin just really felt fit in like a glove, Tony, didn't he? He could play with any of the defensemen out there. His mobility is better than Shea Theodore, who is the best mobile defenseman the Golden Knights had. If I had to rank the Golden Knights skaters, Hanifin is probably in my top 3, along with like a Jack Eichel and maybe a Shea Theodore. He is just that smooth of a skater. I love his transition going from forward to backwards. I love how he can be at full speed in 1.5, 2 steps to, as far as a sprint goes, skating backwards. There's a lot of games where you just saw this quick footwork. I thought it was very nice bringing him in. There's a long-term connection, of course, with Jack Eichel. Those two played together growing up. So that's another bit of locker room familiarity. Stats-wise, I think the best is yet to come for Noah Hanifin. He just seems like he's too good of a skater to be like a 35, 38 point type of player. I could see him flirting with 45 to 50, 55 points on a regular basis. Be remiss if I didn't say this is possibly like if Shea Theodore had the responsible type of game that Noah Hanifin had, we'd be talking like a Roman Josi type of player. We're not knocking Shea Theodore. I'm simply saying there's a lot that Shea Theodore can take from Noah Hanifin to improve his game.
Goals in Game 2 and in Game 6 of the series against Dallas, a couple of assists. My big question is, will he remain to be paired with Zach Whitecloud? That was his pairing, I believe, in the last game of the series. On the third pairing, I think he's better than that. Now, hypothetically,
doesn't matter.
Hypothetically, though, hear me out. Wait till the end. Alec Martinez, probably not coming back for VGK. Do you have a pairing, the first defensive pair of Alex Pietrangelo and Noah Hanifin?
I personally do not like that.
What?
I think you're putting too much into one pairing right there. You have two extremely good players. You have elite defensemen right there. I think the Golden
Wait,
Knights can.
hey, hang on. If Pete DeBoer could play games and be effective with just 5 defensemen, and VGK could do the same.
How long is that going to last? We're going to find out.
Well, they
So
had
let's see how
6
long
in the
that's gonna last.
lineup, and they had a sixth on the ice at time, but they basically still played with 5.
So you talked about the third pairing of Noah Hanifin and Zach Whitecloud. He got 23 minutes in Game 7. He got Noah Hanifin has not played less than, let's see. So he came to the Golden Knights April 20. No, it was before that, right? Well, these are playoff game logs I'm looking at right now. Okay. So in the playoff series, his least amount of minutes were time on ice was 20 minutes and 7 seconds in Game 6. Honestly, here's what I like for Noah Hanifin next year. I like the pairing of Noah Hanifin and Caden Korczak. That's what I like for next year. Korczak has a mobility factor to his game. He does have a scoring touch, but if you're going to compare Korczak to another player in the lineup, he's much closer to a player like a Braden McNabb and a Zach Whitecloud, where it's a little more of a stay-at-home. Although McNabb we really saw a new version of him, it felt like, in the playoffs and down the stretch. So we'll see what type of game McNabb has up his sleeve for the Golden Knights next season. But I would love a younger defenseman to gain experience playing alongside Noah Hanifin. Pietrangelo can play with anyone on the team, as can Noah Hanifin. You create that balance where your top pairing and your second pairing has a defenseman that's going to jam for 22 minutes a night. That's going to be tough to play against. And that's the identity that the Golden Knights need to reestablish, that tough defensive game. When you're rolling 3 pairings on defense, sucking up minutes, it's tough to play against.
I'm going to put Caden Korczak on the napkin in the parking lot. So preparing for a presentation, as I have been my entire life, we have the parking lot because people go, they go off topic. You're trying to stay everything focused one area. You put the parking lot over there and you go, okay, Caden Korczak, parking lot. We'll get to that later. Coming up next, Anthony Mantha. Anthony Mantha, the VGK player that was scouted a few dozen times in Washington and on the Caps road trips as well. Did Mantha perform? Did he live up to expectations, or did he fill a void this rental? We'll get to him. We discuss it next. How about the build-up there, bro? We'll discuss that next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. It's winner take all time in the NBA and the NHL. Of course, my Knicks and Rangers are doing quite well. Thank you. And FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $150 to bet on point spreads, money lines, player props, and much, much more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. In the game last night, from what I understand, when Vancouver was down by 3 goals, they were plus 900 on FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. I finally said something relevant. We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Yes, it's the off season. Yes, this show could go off the rails, as does our show on Friday. That's WTF. Please make sure that you chime in and leave us your favorite comments, especially about Chris Golick. And then on Saturdays, there's that novelty show, if you will, with Chris and Chris Jr. You don't want to miss it. That's the YouTube exclusive. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. The answer to my long question right before the break is no, with an exclamation point. Anthony Mantha did not fill a void. He was a rental for VGK. He will not be re-signed. He will not. That's probably 99 and 9/10% probability there.
You're not off.
He let everyone down. I expected a lot more out of him. Remember, I just kept saying, you need to put this guy in the bumper. He's a big dude. He's 6'3". He's pretty big. He just, again, I thought he'd be more physical. Even after, McCrimmon and all the scouts and myself, after we scouted him, I thought he'd deliver more. I definitely did. VGK, a second round draft pick in 2026, a fourth round pick as well. From everything that I remember. Okay, big player, went in front of the net, I think once or twice since he was here that I could recall. After games 1, 2, and 3, Cassidy had enough and he sat him. Not a fit at all. Not a fit. And this could be one of those rare, I'll say it, rare Kelly McCrimmon misses.
Yeah, I mean, so there was a moment there where I think we talked about it somewhere around mid-April or early April where I had no clue, Mantha had like 7 points in 5 games or something like that. It was quiet. I think Anthony Mantha's role was to become this year's version of Ivan Barbashev, right? This big player who could possibly play a physical game, contribute deeply in the playoffs. Well, he got scratched for the last 4 games, so that obviously didn't happen. So there were a lot of people and people chirp all day on Twitter. We know better than anyone lately.
It was a chemistry issue.
Sure. I think what they had envisioned for him and what he actually did were 2 different things, though.
Well, what did they envision him to do?
Well, let's talk about, first of all, what a lot of fans said. And a lot of fans said he played a soft game despite his size.
He did. No, I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah, no, and maybe a soft game isn't the right words, but just
he would have fit in
for
very
his size,
well.
you expect
he would have fit in well with the in the DeBoer era.
Sure, yeah, because they shoot 50 times a game. He 4 goals would go off his stomach and go in the net, but it doesn't always work out. Go back to season 1, Tomas Tatar, same thing. I mean, there's trades that happen. The Cody Glass was supposed to be a lot better, and that didn't work out. And it wasn't a trade, but still, point being, things do not end up always working out for players. And Mantha, I think the salary, now the Golden Knights were able to work some magic where his salary, I think the Golden Knights, so his cap hit is 5.7, but as far as the Golden Knights were concerned, they were only on the hook for 2.8. They were on hook for 50% of it. So the Golden Knights did the right job as far as trying to get a player on the cheap to fill that void. But like you said, chemistry, his size didn't match his game, and it just didn't work out. It always doesn't work out, man. Mantha's not a bad dude. It just didn't work in Vegas.
Yeah. Signed a contract initially with the Red Wings in 2020, sent to the Caps. And then, of course, here in Vegas, his contract expired. We don't foresee them signing him again. No extension there. So let's just, again, recap. Tomas, fun must be always Hertl. I'm still on the fence. With him. I don't know. Maybe they saw something with his skills diminishing in San Jose. I don't know.
We haven't seen Tatar yet. We haven't seen him yet. Or we haven't seen Hertl yet. We haven't seen the real version of Tomas Hertl yet.
Well, if they put him in the right position, I think we will. If they keep him on a wing and keep messing around with him, I almost said something else, keep messing around with him, then we might not see his potential here.
I almost found out how the edit button works on this. So yeah, I mean, listen, Chandler Stevenson obviously is going to be a big part of what could happen with Hertl as far as positioning goes. We don't see a path for Stevenson. We'll save that for parking lot. But point being is that's going to affect Hertl. So, okay, so that's Hertl. What you got in Hanifin now?
Okay, Hanifin, I think, could be a fit. And again, he's a young man, 27 years old. He's right in the prime. Or 88. He'll be 87 or 88 when this contract is done. No, he signed an 8-year deal, so he'll be 35. No, I think there's huge upside. I don't care if they're top heavy. I don't care if I want him paired with Pietrangelo. I do.
You'll see it. You'll see it when it needs to happen. I 100% think you're going to see a lot of games.
I also like Caden Korzak in the mix there, though, and I think he will be. Okay, parking lot, and then of course Anthony Mantha rental. That's about it. The rental
Good luck
is
in future
expired.
endeavors, bro.
We appreciate everyone tuning in. Don't forget, we will be back again tomorrow. Believe it or not, it's WTF, what the Friday. I'm sure we'll have stuff in the parking lot that we could move there to the toll booth or wherever we decide to move it. It's always that.
You know what that is, Tony.
It's crazy though, because always people start chiming in like me midway through a presentation, planning session, all that, and you have to put it in the parking lot.
So we're 30 minutes in. No one's watching anyway. But the best thing for me growing up in the Illinois tollway systems, you had some that had the gates and stuff. You actually throw money in, guys. It's not a credit card or a scanner. You actually like put coins in. If you don't know what
that doesn't exist anymore.
Things.
I don't get out often.
Very rarely. But point being is the best thing we would do is
you chuck it over the other side.
Huh?
You would chuck it from the passenger side.
No, that's fun too, like a hook shot, Kareem. But no, best thing would be to see go like 50 miles an hour. It's one lane and no gate, so it's not the best thing. You don't slow down and you throw the coin. You try and get it to land while you're still going close to full speed. That was the fun. It didn't work all the time. We got a bunch of tickets in the mail and just complained. We paid them, whatever. But yeah. So you haven't had fun until you tried to hit the basket with some coinage going 50 miles an hour down 90.
Okay, the good old trick in the Chevy Nova, back in the day, would be roll the window down. It wasn't automatic, folks. We don't have to work for much. All the doors open for us anymore. They're all electronic. And so anyway, the thing that we would do always would roll down the window, fake like you threw a coin in, beep your horn, and then for some reason the gate would open. So
love it.
Okay, from my man Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco. We'll see you tomorrow. It's WTF Day.
Maybe after this show. I don't know. It could get canned.
We're both going to be in the parking lot in a minute. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.